Jethro Kane, hast thou consorted with the witch Elizabeth Selwyn? No. Burn the witch!
Hello, my friends. I came across this video, and it's nothing new. You know, I do all kinds of videos on propaganda, you know, the crazy beliefs that people have about especially witches. And so many of you have seen those videos, and if you haven't, please go ahead, take a look at some of my videos. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let me play you this one particular video.
This article was passed along to me entitled "Hundreds of Witches Just Hexed Stanford Rapist Brock Turner." But people need to see that these witches are out there performing spells like this, wishing harm on people, because people still believe that witchcraft and all of this stuff is fantasy land, that it doesnn't exist. Meanwhile, hundreds of witches get together to put these spells on. What do you think? They were doing it for fun? And they send spells out on people. And you don't know, somebody could do it to you or your family, someone that doesn't like you. On Facebook, starting up a group to put spells out there. 100 years ago, 150 years ago, these people would have been put on trial, run out of town. Who knows what else they would have done from them. I don't want to condone that because I don't condone murder. I don't condone murdering anyone or these people. But you know what I'm saying, what they would have done, because they know how dangerous they are. People still believed in the Bible. They have been trained to think that witchcraft is fake. It's something fictional. So they can't even read an article like this and pick up on the severity of it and think to themselves, wow, could that happen to me? Could somebody be putting a spell on me and my family if I did wrong to them? Or if they just didn't like how I looked? Yes, they can. And they do. And they do it to Christians all the time. So be aware. That's why we have to constantly be reading the scriptures, constantly be in prayer. And this is a spiritual war, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. This is a spiritual war that's going on. So stay focused on, this video is talking about the witchcraft that's going on, and that should not be acceptable or allowed. How this stuff is allowed to go on, and nobody blinks an eye at it. Nobody goes, should we keep an eye out for the witches? Didn't they used to hang them on trees because they were doing all this stuff? Doesn't the Bible talk about how bad and awful it is and how dangerous it is? And it mentions sorcery and witchcraft and spells? Oh yeah, it does, but it must not be real, right? This is what's really going on. So be prepared, because the spiritual war is on, and we all need to be deep reading our scriptures, following only Jesus Christ, following the scriptures only.
So I played you that video, and the reason why I played you that video is because I want to remind us of the importance of being silent. And you don't hear too many witches talking about what the spells that they cast, things that they do. And the reason for this is, one, you don't want to talk about spell work. It is something that we do, but we don't really want to talk about it. It's just kind of a thing you don't usually do. There's a lot of tradition around remaining silent, not being too out in the open about some things that we do. So there's often this fine line that we walk between letting the public know who we are and what we're about, but also keeping certain parts of our practice to ourselves. And I think that this is one of the things that we need to remember when there's these big profile cases like this individual who raped this woman. And I can completely understand how people would want to do something about it, how we see it wrong and we want to correct it. And I think that that is a noble trait. But I think we have to also understand how important it is to keep that private. And it's really hard when we're posting it on Facebook, then it's being shared, and then news agencies pick it up, and then other people pick it up. I don't really think that we will get to a time like we have in the past where people will be so frightened by the concept of witchcraft, consorting with the devil, demonology, all these fearful things, that they would actually condemn people, say, to prison or to death for being a witch. I don't think so. However, you can not get a job because of it. If they're not really blatant about it, you can't really do anything. You can't call your lawyer or somebody who represents employees and tell them that you've been discriminated against because of your religious affiliation, unless you can really prove that. You can not get housing based upon somebody believing that you are a witch or practicing witch. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you can suffer discrimination for your religious beliefs if people think that it's dangerous or they have a negative reaction to it. So there is importance to keeping silent and not talking about spells that you do. It's public relations. It's so people can accept us for who we are and what we are. And again, there can still be bias. There can still be discrimination. We can suffer real life consequences because of our beliefs. It's just a fact of the matter. Of course, there are agencies put in place to protect us, but it can still happen. It's just not overt. If you don't get a job, the employer doesn't have to say exactly why they didn't hire you. They just don't hire you. Or that housing application didn't go through, or that loan didn't go through. Or maybe you go into court and you're fighting for custody for your children, and your spouse mentions all these things and says that you are an unfit mother or father for those children. These cases have happened before. So this is a message to the choir, those of us who practice. But it is a suggestion. Everything is a suggestion. You can do whatever you want, but it's a suggestion. There's a reason why one of the 4 corners of the witch's pyramid is to remain silent.
100 years ago, 150 years ago, these people would have been put on trial, run out of town. Who knows what else they would have done from them. I don't want to condone that because I don't condone murder. I don't condone murdering anyone or these people. But you know what I'm saying, what they would have done, because they know how dangerous they
Bring
are.
out Elizabeth Selwyn.